Okay, the name of the company is QinetiQ North America. It's spelled with a Q at the beginning, capital Q at the beginning, and a capital Q at the end. And it's, to me, an interesting story there. If you're a James Bond follower, and recall Q and James Bond, the inventor of all the gadgets, if he were a real person, he would have worked for what is now QinetiQ in the UK. So that was part of the British government. They privatized it, went public, generated a lot of cash, and began buying companies in the US. So since 2005, there's been a QinetiQ North America. There have been 15 acquisitions that put the company together, and we've grown to be about $1.5 billion company since 2004. We do engineering. NASA is one of our biggest customers. We really do have rocket scientists working for us. We develop software, do systems integration, a lot of security work, a lot of intelligence work. And we have a group that does products. They're survivability-oriented products, robots that will go after unexploded ordnance, and you blow up a robot, but you don't blow up one of our soldiers. We put protective mesh over tanks and military vehicles to help them against RPG threats. And a lot of the things that we do are associated with protecting our customers' most valuable resources. I'm the president of the company, President Chief Operating Officer. Oh, I definitely think there will be more acquisitions that take place, and certainly a consolidation. And there are a lot of financially oriented people at the conference here today. I think part of that is to see what's going on, hear what the environment is. But there is money available, venture funds that view the government and defense, especially within the government market, as a great place to buy companies. I think there are bargains to be had now because people are worried about the defense budgets going down. It runs in cycles. So now's the time where people who have a long-term view are willing to make acquisitions, buy those companies, build up, buy good companies, because when you get into the lean times, the good companies survive, the bad companies fall by the wayside. So if you can take advantage of an environment where you're able to acquire companies that are good companies, build it up, it's a good time to buy. And when times are better, then you'll find that you have a big, strong, large company that really is doing well in the government contracting business. We tend to do business primarily in the defense and intelligence arena. And I guess our definition of that is expansive in that NASA is one of our biggest customers, and the Department of Homeland Security is one of our biggest customers. So in a sense, we view that as part of the overall national security arena. And then the rest of our customers are actually Department of Defense and intelligence community. That's where we will focus. We tend to be more of a high-tech company, so we stay away from commodity-type areas. We do work that is solid, rocket science-type engineering, supporting launches for NASA, for example, and software, and research and development type things with customers like DARPA, for example. And those things will support our product development. So in terms of what we would look for, things that would probably bring us into customer areas where we're not doing similar technology. So it's going to be closely aligned in defense, intelligence, or something that is research oriented that would help our eventual product sales. A lot of the work that we do for customers starts out with conceptual type studies, building toward architectures, and then eventually toward prototype development and actual systems. And some of the work that we're starting in the early stages is work that I would call strategic agility for customers. For example, we have a new contract where we're going to look at architectures, communications architectures in space. And one of the problems with space is once you launch a satellite, there's not a whole, you can't send out the Maytag repairman to fix a satellite. So what we're developing is a very agile architecture with space assets that really requires you to do a lot of thinking ahead of time to pre-position assets. We're doing undersea things, similar, so that the thought is you can pre-position assets underwater. So if something happens, you know where the assets are. So to me, strategic agility is another way of saying making your own luck, doing things that you do ahead of time to be smart in the future, where you have good fortune. And a lot of that is what we do. We've been, then in terms of our own business, as we look at acquisitions and growth areas, the key thing to do is not make sure it's not a fad, the place where everybody is going toward, but looking at what is the next step. And then what we've been able to do successfully is, whereas a lot of government contracts will really focus on a solution that takes a long, long time, and when it gets to the field, it's perfect. Where we've seen strength is proposing an 80% solution, but that gets there quickly, so that we're saving lives very quickly, as opposed to waiting for a product to come around that might be the 100% solution, but never gets there. So we field quickly and get there pretty down most of the way. And actually, this was through an acquisition that we made about 1.5 years ago, a company that has a products and software as a service that is more offensive than defensive. Our view is you can build all the firewalls in the world, and then somebody's going to defeat it. You build a stronger one, and you get caught up in that. What we have done is taken this company's services, and it's really a proactive, go after the bad guys approach. And we surrounded it with other products that give a whole suite of protective devices. So our web crawlers go out, find where bad guys are, gather information, build a database. We collect information in the database, and basically catch the threat before it gets to us. I mean, we work with our set of customers, and then the set of customers identifies a threat profile. So if Iran's nuclear department were one of the customers, and we'd sort of look at who could be the possible threats, and then look into what's called the dark internet to find where those threats are. And in essence, it's the internet you don't see. For example, if and I'm not sure what Wharton's website is, but I assume it's www.wharton.edu. So the open internet is where people want you to look at their website and understand immediately what it is. The dark internet, people have websites like www.123.789.426. whatever. So it's a little bit fishy if you really want to be anonymous on the internet. So there's a whole world out there that's like that, and that's where a lot of the bad guys are lurking. Well, I tell you, the cyber company that we just talked about is a good example. We recognized, I think, early on the role that cyber could play, and it is especially complementary with customers that we have who are more, defense and intelligence community type customers. So we looked at a set of companies where we could put together a cyber portfolio, and in doing that, acquisition targets came up. So there we sort of had a two-pronged approach. One is build a portfolio through teaming partners or strategic partnerships, but also with an eye toward picking the pearl out and seeing if we could acquire that and having that company for ourselves. So we're actively looking at that type of company.